Targeting matrix. Leighton Vega was startled by the soft tap against his apartment's smart window. The 30th floor view should have been inaccessible from the outside. The tapping continued, and he approached cautiously. The window's transparency shifted as he neared, revealing a hovering drone outside. And behind it, suspended on a maintenance platform, a man pointing a matte black handgun directly at him. Vega's breath caught as he stared down the barrel. Behind the weapon, a man with sharp features and calculating eyes gave him a cold smile. The window's security protocols overrode at the man's command, and the stranger slipped into the apartment with surprising grace, the maintenance platform drifting away on autopilot. "Attorney Vega," the man said, gun still trained on him. "No need for alarm. If I wanted you dead, you wouldn't have heard the tap." "Who are you?" Vega asked, maintaining his composure despite the unauthorized entry. "What do you want?" "Don't recognize me? I'm Dr. Nathaniel Cade." He holstered the weapon inside his jacket. Recognition flickered across Vega's face. "The neurosurgeon? You were in Callisto maximum security." "Until recently," Cade said, examining the luxury apartment with clinical interest. "Prison healthcare is remarkably accommodating when you know how to manipulate inflammatory responses. A self-induced infection, some compromised nanomeds, and suddenly you're in the medical ward with far fewer safeguards. And now you're breaking into my apartment instead of disappearing somewhere in the belt?" "We have mutual interests," Cade said, helping himself to a seat. "You're no longer practicing law after that debacle with Helix Communications, and I'm seeking partnerships." Vega's expression hardened. "I was cleared of all charges. The tribunal found procedural errors." "Please," Cade interrupted with a dismissive gesture. "We both know legal technicalities are simply expensive loopholes. Whether you bribe a guard or manipulate the judiciary, the principle is the same. I did nothing illegal. Spare me. You're sophisticated enough to ensure everything appeared legitimate. That's precisely why I'm here." Vega studied the fugitive. "You didn't come to rob me, and you haven't tried to kill me. So what exactly do you want, Doctor? What's your current relationship with Nexus Relay?" Vega's jaw clenched, eyes flashing with undisguised hatred. "I thought so," Cade said with satisfaction. "I have my own grievances with Director Ellison and her operation. What if I told you I have the resources to strike at them where they're most vulnerable? I'd say you're either delusional or dangerously naive. Nexus Relay is practically untouchable. I once thought the same about the human nervous system, until I discovered the right approach." Cade leaned forward. "I need your connections at Quantum Dynamics. Together, we can build something that will bring Nexus to its knees." Vega laughed without humor. "You expect me to align myself with an escaped convict? That would destroy what remains of my reputation." "Your reputation," Cade said coldly, "is already in tatters, and your financial position with Quantum Dynamics is precarious at best. I have resources, significant ones, and a plan. The question is, how badly do you want revenge on Miranda Ellison and her team?" Vega went silent, weighing his limited options against his burning resentment. "Tell me what you're proposing," he finally said. Miranda Ellison frowned at the tangle of prototype equipment in Dr. Wei's laboratory aboard Nexus Relay. The orbital communications hub, a massive structure resembling a stellated dodecahedron, housed the most advanced transmission technology in the solar system. But Dr. Wei's latest project looked more like a mad scientist's fever dream. "It's certainly innovative," she said diplomatically. But what exactly am I looking at, Sophia? Dr. Sophia Wei beamed with enthusiasm. It's a non-arcing alloy that can break circuit connections under extreme loads without plasma formation. No more bulky, liquid-cooled breakers. Impressive, Miranda nodded, though her expression remained reserved. But these containment vessels look fragile. They're temporary, Sophia assured her. I needed to test the alloy under real conditions. The capacitors use my new meta-dielectric medium, 13 million times the capacity of standard materials. Miranda's technical background triggered immediate concern. Wait, are you saying this setup holds 13 farads at what voltage? Just 3 kilovolts for testing, Sophia said casually. 3,000 volts across 13 farads? Miranda took an instinctive step back. That's perfectly contained, interrupted Alex Chen, Nexus's technical director, as he entered the lab. Though I share your concern about all this glassware. Miranda gave him a grateful look. Alex, please tell me you've reviewed this setup. I have, he confirmed, and I'm recommending Sophia house this in a proper containment unit before further testing. If that dielectric medium leaked while charged, the energy cascade would be catastrophic, Miranda finished. Sophia, this is brilliant work, but it needs proper safeguards. We're stationed 70 million kilometers from Earth with 3,000 personnel on board. Of course, Sophia agreed, looking slightly disappointed but understanding. I'll transfer everything to a sealed polycarbon housing tomorrow. Good, Miranda said, relieved. The non-arcing alloy could revolutionize our power systems. Just let's not accidentally revolutionize our existence into scattered atoms. Always the cautious one, Alex teased as they left the lab. Remember when you wouldn't let me test the quantum entanglement communicator without triple redundancies? And remember how it collapsed into a singularity despite those redundancies? Miranda countered with a raised eyebrow. Point taken, Alex conceded. Care to join me for a drink at Horizons? I think we both need one after seeing Sophia's little death trap. As they walked toward the station's central hub, Dr. Chen's tablet chirped with a notification. Kai has something interesting to show us in the materials lab. Want to take a look first? Why not? Miranda said. It's not like I have a stack of reports waiting. Oh wait, I do. Reports that will still be there after we see whatever improbable physics Kai has cooked up now, Alex said with a smile. Dr. Kai Takahashi greeted them in his laboratory, where he was manipulating controls for what appeared to be a sophisticated scanning device. Perfect timing, he said, adjusting the equipment. I've discovered something fascinating with the quantum resonance detector. We can actually detect specific material compositions at considerable distances. How considerable? Miranda asked. Currently, about 7 kilometers with good resolution, but the theoretical limit could be much greater. Kai handed the control interface to Miranda. Try it. Sweep it across the laboratory and watch the sensor readings. Miranda did as instructed, slowly panning the device. The readout remained flat until it passed over a particular area, where it registered a minuscule spike. There's your target, a tungsten carbide sample, Kai said triumphantly. 7 microamperes after amplification. That's incredibly sensitive, Miranda said, impressed. That's what I love about this place, Kai laughed. We're either working with values so small they need 15 zeros after the decimal, or so large they need 15 zeros before it. Could this be adapted for navigation? Alex asked, immediately seeing applications. With some refinement, absolutely. Kai nodded. Imagine being able to detect specific metal alloys in ships or structures at extreme distances, or identifying the composition of unknown objects, Miranda added. This could revolutionize space traffic management. Not to mention security applications, Alex said more quietly, his mind already working through the possibilities. Miranda handed the controls back to Kai. Excellent work. Draft a formal research proposal so we can allocate more resources to this. As they left Kai's lab, Miranda turned to Alex. Now I definitely need that drink. Nathaniel Cade observed with intense satisfaction as the energy beam from his ship Erebus struck the small asteroid. The space rock glowed white-hot before fragmenting into a cloud of superheated particles. Perfect calibration, he said, fingers dancing across the control interface. The quantum focusing is holding at 97% efficiency. Leighton Vega watched from the command deck, impressed despite himself. The targeting system is remarkably precise. This is merely a demonstration, Cade said, powering down the system. When the full array is installed, we'll have 3 times this capability. And what exactly do you plan to do with it? Create economic leverage. Cade turned from the controls, his expression calculating. Every vessel leaving any major port will pay a transit tax, 1,000 credits per metric ton. Those who refuse will become cautionary examples. You're proposing systemic extortion, Vega said, though his tone held more admiration than judgment. I prefer to think of it as privatized taxation, Cade replied. The authorities have grown complacent. The shipping lanes are unprotected, commercial vessels unarmed. They've forgotten that space is fundamentally a wilderness. And who will you start with? We'll establish a perimeter outside the Ellison barrier, Cade said with pointed irony. It's fitting to use Miranda Ellison's own discovery, the altitude limit where solar energy harvesting becomes viable, as our operational boundary. Every time someone mentions our operation, they'll associate it with her name. Psychological warfare. Vega nodded. Tarnish her reputation by proximity. Precisely, Cade agreed. Now explain how you acquired control of quantum dynamics without alerting regulatory authorities. Vega smiled thinly. Shell companies, distributed holdings, and carefully timed market acquisitions. I control 26%, and with your recent investments, we have effective majority control. The company appears legitimate on all fronts? Absolutely. We've even increased R&D spending to deflect suspicion. The public sees a troubled company making a laudable comeback. Good, Cade said. We'll need that legitimacy when we launch the next phase. I've established a research facility on Venus, in the Caloris Basin. It's shielded from orbital surveillance and staffed with specialists who ask no questions. How did you acquire such resources? Vega asked. Even with my connections, this operation must be costing billions. During my exile in the Venus mining territories, I discovered several deposits of rare earth elements that the corporations had missed, Cade explained. I've been quietly liquidating those assets for years. Even in prison, investments compound. The ship's navigation system alerted them to their approach vector for Earth. Cade programmed the automatic systems before turning back to Vega. Your job is to maintain quantum dynamics as our legitimate front. Keep the authorities appeased. File the appropriate patents to monitor technological developments, and direct our sanctioned research along lines that support our true objectives. And your role? I'll command our enforcement operations. When we've established our revenue stream, we'll move against Nexus Relay directly. Cade's eyes gleamed with the intensity of long-nurtured vengeance. I intend to watch Miranda Ellison's life's work crumble before her eyes. We've got a problem, Alex said, entering Miranda's office without preamble. The Galileo penal colony on Callisto has been attacked. Miranda looked up from her display. Attacked? By whom? An unregistered vessel with advanced weaponry. They're describing it as a black stealth ship with a hemispherical array mounted on its hull. Alex forwarded the incident report to her screen. They used some kind of directed energy weapon that cut through their perimeter defenses like they were made of paper. Casualties? None reported, surprisingly. They disabled the security systems and communications, then breached the high-security wing. 412 inmates are unaccounted for. Miranda's expression darkened. Someone's building an army. Not just someone, Alex said grimly. The prison administrator identified Nathaniel Cade among the attackers. Cade? Miranda tensed visibly. He's recruiting other convicts now? This just got significantly worse. There's more, Alex continued. We've analyzed the attack pattern. The energy signature matches theoretical models for a quantum-focused solar harvester. Like our system, but weaponized, Miranda whispered. That shouldn't be possible without quantum dynamics technology, Alex finished. They've been suspiciously active lately, acquiring smaller tech firms and filing patents related to energy transmission. And who's running quantum dynamics these days? Officially, a board of directors led by CEO Aisha Patel. But our intelligence suggests Leighton Vega has been consolidating control through proxy holdings. Miranda stood abruptly. Vega and Cade working together. Two brilliant, vindictive men with a shared hatred of Nexus Relay. Exactly my assessment. What's our defense capability if they target us? Alex hesitated. Limited. Our systems are designed to harvest solar energy, not defend against weaponized versions of the same technology. Then we need to adapt, Miranda said firmly. Get Sophia's team working on defensive applications for her non-arcing alloy, and I want Kai to accelerate development of the materials detection system. If we can spot their ship at a distance, we might gain tactical advantage. I'll coordinate with both teams immediately, Alex nodded. Should we alert system security? Yes, but carefully. We need evidence before making accusations against quantum dynamics. Miranda's expression was resolute. In the meantime, let's prepare for the worst. If they're building attack capabilities, we need countermeasures. We could weaponize our own systems, Alex suggested reluctantly. That's exactly what they'd expect, Miranda said. Let's try something they won't anticipate. The confrontation, when it came, happened more quickly than anyone at Nexus Relay had anticipated. The Erebus appeared at the edge of their detection range, its stealth systems only partially effective against Kai's enhanced sensors. The ship's distinctive energy signature was unmistakable. They're hailing us, the communications officer reported. Miranda nodded. On screen. Nathaniel Cade's face appeared, composed and clinical. Director Ellison, it's been some time. Not long enough, Doctor, Miranda replied evenly. I see prison didn't improve your social skills. Always the wit, Cade said with a thin smile. I'll be direct. Nexus Relay now operates under my authority. You will transfer control protocols to my ship immediately. That's not going to happen. Consider your position carefully, Cade said. My vessel is equipped with energy weapons capable of reducing your station to its component atoms. I've already demonstrated this capability at several facilities. I'm aware of your attacks, Miranda said. just as I'm aware of your partnership with Leighton Vega. How did two egomaniacs manage to form a functional alliance? A flicker of annoyance crossed Cade's face. My patience is limited, Director. Surrender your station, or I will take it by force. Miranda glanced at Alex, who gave her a subtle nod. Their preparations were complete. If you're so confident in your systems, Doctor, feel free to demonstrate. We'll target the South Quadrant. It's mostly storage and can be repaired. Confusion briefly replaced Cade's smugness. You're inviting an attack? I'm calling your bluff, Miranda said calmly. Either your weapon works as claimed, or you're posturing. Either way, we'll have our answer. Cade's eyes narrowed. Very well. Targeting South Quadrant now. The view shifted to show the Erebus rotating its hemispherical array toward Nexus Relay. Energy readings spiked dramatically as the weapon system charged. Energy discharge detected, Kai reported from his station. Quantum-focused solar beam at full intensity. Miranda watched the monitors calmly as the invisible beam struck Nexus Relay's southern section. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, gradually, the station's power indicators began to rise. Power reserves increasing, the operations officer reported with barely contained excitement. All systems showing surplus energy. On screen, Cade's expression transformed from confidence to disbelief. Impossible. Not impossible, Miranda countered. Just good engineering. Your weapon is essentially a directed solar harvester, and harvesting solar energy is what we do best. We've simply adapted our collectors to accept your focused input. Cease fire, Cade ordered someone off-screen. The energy readings immediately dropped. Thank you for the power boost, Miranda said. Our reserves were getting low. This changes nothing, Cade snarled. We still have options. As do we, Miranda replied. For instance, we've been developing our own applications based on Dr. Takahashi's quantum resonance technology. Your primitive material scanner? Cade scoffed. Not quite so primitive anymore. Miranda nodded to Alex, who activated their newly developed system. Aboard the Erebus, alarms suddenly blared as their sensors detected multiple incoming objects. What is this? Cade demanded. Consider it a demonstration of our defensive capabilities, Miranda said. Those are quantum-guided drones, programmed to target the specific alloy composition of your ship's hull. Pilot, evasive maneuvers, Cade ordered. We're leaving. Running already? Miranda pressed. I thought you came prepared for a confrontation. This is merely a strategic withdrawal, Cade insisted. We'll return, and you'll regret this defiance. As the Erebus turned away from Nexus Relay, Miranda nodded to Alex again. Now, Doctor. Chen. From a launch bay, a larger drone separated from the swarm, accelerating rapidly toward the retreating ship. Unlike the others, this one carried no conventional weapons. Only Sophia Wei's experimental capacitor, charged to its maximum and housed in a reinforced casing. The Erebus detected the pursuit and attempted to target the drone with its energy weapons, but the smaller decoys overwhelmed its targeting systems. The specialized drone closed the distance rapidly. When impact came, it wasn't an explosion in the traditional sense. The drone's specially designed electrodes, made from Sophia's non-arcing alloy, made contact with the Erebus's hull. In that instant, 13 farads discharged at 10,000 volts directly into the ship's conductive exterior. The massive electrical surge overwhelmed the ship's systems instantaneously. From Nexus Relay, they watched as the Erebus went dark, then erupted in a blinding flash as internal systems catastrophically failed. The explosion temporarily blinded Nexus's external cameras. When the sensors recovered, nothing remained of the Erebus but dispersing debris. "Target neutralized," Kai reported quietly. Miranda closed her eyes briefly. "Confirm no other vessels were in the blast radius." "Confirmed. Area is clear." "Notify system security," she ordered, "and prepare a full report for the Council." As the command center staff carried out her instructions, Alex approached her station. "That was more effective than we anticipated," he said softly. "Too effective," Miranda agreed. "We need to understand exactly what happened for the investigation." "And Vega?" "Still out there, with control of quantum dynamics," Miranda said grimly. "This isn't over, just entering a new phase." "At least we have breathing room to prepare," Alex noted. Miranda nodded, watching the dispersing debris field on the monitor. "Breathing room, yes, but no time to waste. Vega won't forgive what happened here today." "What do you think he'll do?" "That," Miranda said, "is exactly what we need to find out."
Every story has an end, but there's always another waiting to be told. Subscribe to Steve's Stories for more sci-fi, dystopian, and war-driven adventures, from short tales to full novels. Like the video, hit the bell, and join me on this journey through worlds unknown.